All right. Good morning. All right, I'm going to call this case to trial at this particular time. This is cause number DC 16-15801, Fiji Financial LLC versus David Akina et al. May I have the parties announce on the record at this time? Let me know your name and who you represent.
My name is Rodney Hubbard. I represent the plaintiff, Fiji Financial LLC.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hubbard.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brian Bellamy. I represent Propel Financial Services, who's an intervening plaintiff.
All right, good morning, Mr. Bellamy. And Mr. Brower?
Hi, yeah, I'm Doug Brower. I'm the owner of Fiji. I'm here to
Okay.
testify if needed.
Okay, all right. Okay, do we have anyone making an appearance on behalf of the defendant, David Akina?
Your Honor, I thought he'd be here, but we did sign just over the weekend a agreed judgment, and Mr. Duran signed that, and I e-filed that judgment, and we figured out it couldn't be an agreed judgment because there's some in-rem defendants, but he did sign that. I e-filed it, and I think I may have even emailed it.
There he is. He just showed
Okay.
up.
Okay. I don't see him.
All right, Mr. Duran.
Yes,
All right, we just made announcements on the record. If you will just simply state your name and who you're representing this morning.
Daniel Durand representing the David Akina and his living trust, and also Renee Andrea Akina as trustee of her living trust.
Okay, all right. And the court was just before you joined, Mr. Duran, the court was hearing from Mr. Hubbard. He was just advising the court, I guess, that Mr. Akina had signed an agreed judgment over the weekend, but it was determined it couldn't be an agreed judgment because there were some in-rem defendants. Is that correct, Mr. Duran?
Yes,
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Hubbard, I would imagine that you wish to proceed to put some things on the record this morning. Is that
Just ve-
correct?
I'm sorry. Just very briefly, I was just going to introduce my exhibits. And if testimony is necessary, I have 7 exhibits to show the loan documents. This is a tax lien transfer case. And then my attorney's fees and bill of cost. And then we have the form of the judgment that has been submitted. Everybody's agreed to the numbers, including Propel. And so if to the extent evidence is necessary, I would just admit into evidence plaintiff's exhibits number 1 through 7. And I believe that proves up all the amounts owed and the liens in question. And so unless there's a need for testimony from my client, Doug Brower, I believe that's all we need to do. I believe Mr. Bellamy, it would do the same.
Yes, Your Honor. Intervener has no objection to the admission of those exhibits.
All right. Mr. Duran, any objection to plaintiffs 1 through 7 being received by the court?
no,
Okay, hearing no objections, plaintiffs 1 through 7 bill will be received by the court. And counsel for the plaintiff, Mr. Hubbard, I don't see the need to have Mr. Brower necessarily testify as to the amounts contained in the affidavit since they're already been admitted. You mentioned that there was a judgment that was filed. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
I
and it,
e-filed it, but I never got an official acceptance from the e-file system.
okay,
In fact, I e-filed 2 of them because after I e-filed the first one, the HOA, as a homeowner association, indicated they had no objection and they would agree to it as to form. And so I e-filed a second one just this morning.
okay. So the latest one that has been e-filed with the court should be the one that is reviewed by me and signed. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, the court, it
And-
has
and Your
not
Honor-
seen, yes, sir.
I apologize for interrupting, but
That's okay.
for purposes of formality, so that the judgment will stand up against the in-rem defendants, intervener also moves to admit its exhibits 1 through 3, which were previously e-filed and served on all parties of record in accordance with the Texas Rules of Evidence.
All right. Are there any objections to interveners exhibits 1 through 3?
No, Your Honor.
no objection.
Okay, hearing no objection, interveners exhibits 1 through 3 will be received into evidence as well. What the court will do is the court has not seen the latest filed proposed judgment. It will make sure that the clerk pulls that down from our filing system, and I will review that. Assuming all the numbers add up and are in the judgment the way that they should be, you can anticipate the court granting the judgment. I will sign a copy of the judgment after I reviewed it. I actually don't have another trial to call until 1:30. So when I finish now, I will be reviewing your judgment. And assuming everything purports to what I've heard at this hearing this morning, I will sign the judgment, I will grant it and return it to the clerk so that it can be uploaded. And you all ought to be able to view it either by the close of business today or first thing in the morning.
Great, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else that you need from this court with respect to this matter?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing more.
Okay, Mr. Duran?
No,
Okay.
Your Honor, thank you.
All right, then that concludes our hearing. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You may be
Thank you.
excused.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Hubbard,
Yes,
did y'all send me copies of the exhibits?
yes.
Okay, I've gotten so many, I can't keep track of who's sent me what, so I just want to make
I
sure.
emailed Miss Alonso and I copied you, I think Saturday maybe.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had them, but
Friday or Saturday, I emailed them and e-filed them.
okay, I'll probably have them then. Just wanted to make sure, but if they're e-filed too, then that'll be fine. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.